and Jill on the mic. It's about to get real. Keep it live, that's right. From Pennsylvania to across the globe, it's time for this Steelers All-Star Show.
Welcome to the Steelers by the Lake podcast. My name is James Strong, joined once again by my co-hosts Cody Tanner and Jill from Ohio, aka the Pittsburgh Daughter. Jill, how you doing this Saturday morning?
I love that. That's my new nickname. That's fantastic. I am doing well. It is very cold, and we're in the month of May, which means summer is so close. I'm like hour 12 of a 14-hour car ride. I'm just exhausted. I'm ready for summer, but I'm happy. Cody, how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing fantastic. Already got both dogs pup cups, got myself the 7 brew. We're having a good day. I'm conflicted as I sit here and look. If you're not watching on YouTube, Jill's in an Ohio State shirt. James is wearing a Penn State jersey. You'll find out why we're doing this later, but it's going to be an interesting conversation. James, how are you?
Foreshadowing? Maybe. Yeah, I'm doing good, man. I always enjoy our talks on Saturday mornings. We're going to be doing this the rest of this off season. If you guys have anything that you're looking for us to cover, feel free to throw it in the comments. We'd love to hear from you guys. This is that time of year where we can get a little creative with show topics, and we're going to start a series with today's show being the original of position battles going through the entire offseason. So that'll be our meat and potatoes at the end of the day, at the end of this episode. But we're going to start off with news because we do have some more transactions going on this roster, some coming, some going, starting with Brandon Johnson, a wide receiver who's been on the back end of the roster on the practice squad for a couple of years now, returning to the team. And with his addition, wide receiver / quarterback / return guy, John Rhys Plumlee, on the way out. You guys have any thoughts on these two transaction swaps here?
Neither guy really had a huge input in the past. I don't know if there was a higher ceiling for one or a lower floor for the other. But in the past 3 years, Brandon Johnson's played with both Denver and us, obviously us in 2024. Excuse me, not the last 3 years. Last year, he didn't play for anybody. But in the 3 years that he did play, when he was 24, 25, and 26, he played in 23 games, had 45 targets, 26 receptions for 335 yards, and 5 touchdowns. So really good output from him in his second year with Denver. And then they apparently got rid of him, and we didn't do anything with him. All 5 touchdowns were with Denver. He only played in 3 games last year, had 1 target, 1 catch for 9 yards. That's 100%. So I think we need to play him more. I'm just saying.
Put him on.
But no, I mean, it's
now
with the players on the team right now, and especially drafting some guys and the trade for Pittman, this guy's never going to see the field outside of preseason. So it doesn't really matter to me personally.
Yeah, it's just preseason depth, which makes preseason games exciting. So
absolutely. I think the biggest impact here is that Plumlee was kind of used a lot as the practice squad quarterback whenever we were going to go up against the team that had a mobile quarterback. But I think with some of these young guys healthy now, you might be able to simulate some of those things with Howard or with Drew Aller, as we may or may not be talking about those two gentlemen later on in the show. And then I think also some of the other multi-purpose guys that they drafted later on, where your Caden Weetjen and your Heidenreich, your Max Horlman coming back from last year. A lot of these guys can play multiple positions. So the position flexibility of John Rhys Plumlee, not as much of a benefit when you have some newer guys and some guys with some draft capital that are now here in the camp. So that's going to be right around the corner here. They've got mini camps already, OTAs already. And position or jersey number changes. We've got Roman Wilson going to 14 now that George Pickens is out of his way. What do you guys think about that?
I mean, you know what? If getting a new number gives him some confidence, because isn't that the number that he wore
in college?
Yeah.
Yep.
So maybe if it brings him back down to who he is, and he brings his A game every time. I mean, because he's a good athlete, we just haven't seen it, and so. If that's what sparks him, I hope it does. That's my kind of hope, is with a new number change and like a big deciding year for him to go back to his college roots. spark his play, that'd be great.
Yeah, I feel like for me, it's all about the new opportunity for him this year.
Mhm.
Mike McCarthy said everybody gets a clean slate. He's not looking at anybody's old bad film. He just wants to try to build them in a positive direction. And I think that's so important. So if this is something that helps him mentally, getting that old college number where he had all his success at, hey, man, let's do it. Let's give him that number 14. And let's start that number 14 to being a positive number on the roster again, because it's time that it's somebody that's working hard and doing all the right things on the field too.
Yeah. It's his white girl, new year, new me moment, and I'm all for it. But I make light of it and because it's fun. But realistically, coming from a sports science background, there is a mentality aspect of that. Like he is trying to redefine his role on the team. And so I love it. I love he's making a statement, both probably in the weight room, both probably at practice, and now by his number saying this is not the same guy you got last year. So I'm for it. I'm excited to see what he brings to the table this year, and I cannot wait. Preseason football is getting more and more exciting because I know that a lot of guys like himself are going to have a chance to shine, and I'm very looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think preseason is going to be way more exciting this year because just so many rookie draft picks, so many guys coming back from last year that were looking for a step forward, and even guys as simple as Will Howard that really didn't get a chance to even play last year should have a huge impact in this year's preseason performances. And looks like there won't be any issues for DK from off the field from last year, DK Metcalf. The legal system has decided not to press any charges, has found that there is zero grounds for the lawsuit against him and many others to go forward. And he is countersuing, and I'm all here for it.
Amen. You know what?
Because it was very clearly a fully scripted thing where he tried to get him upset and tried to make him do it. He even stated so afterwards, which was one of the dumbest things he could have done. Yeah. So DK all good to go again.
We're happy about that. And the fact that the league is putting things in place to protect players from that. I mean, we talked when the incident happened of how you're a professional. You shouldn't be engaging with fans. But I also see the side of like fans come to games and you engage with them because it's typically positive. It's supposed to be a positive experience. And you don't want to take that away because one person is acting selfish and ruining it for everybody else. So I'm really happy that DK, like that there's no grounds for them to pursue because it was very evident that it was not his fault and he was rage baited. So
yeah, I'm just happy that that whole situation is going to be moving forward. It's not going to be a shadow over this year like it kind of felt like it was last year, with that kind of hanging over the team. But like we talked before the show, and James, you said, man, I'm so happy he countersued. I'm so happy he said, you want to do this? Okay, it's coming right back at you. So there's no room for that kind of interaction between player and fan in the NFL. And obviously that fan antagonized the crap out of that. So
I think it's important too, especially in today's culture. There's like a whole upbringing of people, and I think a lot of it is younger people, but this guy wasn't younger, so he doesn't even have that as an excuse, that think that there's no consequences to your actions, and there's always consequences to your actions. If you do good things, people appreciate that. They recognize that you're doing good things. If you go out of your way to do evil things, and you go out of your way to try to get somebody else to do evil things, and you make it blatantly obvious like this gentleman did, there are repercussions to it. If you know the name, don't say it. So I just want to put that out there before I go to this part of the conversation. But there was a guy that's like a streamer of some sort who I'm not familiar with, and I don't want his name out there because that's what he was going for, who decided to jump on the stage at the NFL draft. And he tried to like announce a pick and all this, and he got himself in a lot of trouble. And he now has a lifetime ban. He's not allowed to go to any NFL games, any NFL stadiums. And if he's caught doing it, he'll get a trespassing and he'll get presses charged against him. So That's the kind of thing that needs to be a repercussion to people like this. If you go to a stadium and your sole goal is to sue an NFL player to try to get them to assault you, you should have a lifetime ban in every stadium in the league. You should not be allowed to attend any games in the future because that's not what that's about. It's supposed to be a thing that families can go and enjoy and experience, that you can go and cheer on your team. And sure, there's going to be people cheering for the other team, and that's going to happen. And there's going to be some fights that happen, and that's just because people are passionate on either side. But when you go into the day with clear negative intent and your goal is just to try to take somebody down, you're just a bad person. You're a bad person, and there are repercussions, and there should be repercussions for people like that. And I hope that DK just ruins this kid's life now, man. Because he's just a bad person.
Yeah.
I hope the guy definitely gets the lifetime ban, at least from the Steelers stadium, if nothing else. And maybe they only make it DK specific, as far as DK's on when DK's on the team.
There's no reason for that. It shouldn't be. It should be a lifetime.
I agree.
Because he's just going to move on to the next guy and try to rage bait somebody else.
Yeah,
it's just who he is.
But we will update you guys when there's more happenings for that, when there's more things shaking out. I did want to backtrack just for a second when we're talking rookies and minicamp and stuff like that.
Let's do it.
Alex Texza got an invitation to Steelers minicamp, and you probably don't know that name.
That's the fullback from Navy.
Yes. So I wanted to bring that up because that was the teammate of Eli Heidrich. So excited for that. I just remembered that. So that's
the punter.
Huh?
Yeah, the punter from Penn State also, who's 6'6", 311 pounds.
It's a big dude.
Snacks 2.0 is what I will until hopefully he plays better than Snacks ever did. So
yeah, and we knew that there was going to be competition for the kicking and punting job. There always is, right? So we would assume that either if he does well enough at this rookie minicamp, he'll probably get one of those final spots. I understand they're sitting right around 88 right now on the roster, and they're allowed 91. So there's room for 3 guys to impress at this minicamp and get signed. And if it's more than 3, they'll just cut some guys off the back end of the roster. That's just the way that works. But I'm excited to see the full list when that comes out for the rookie minicamp. We don't know the full list yet, but the fullback from Navy makes a lot of sense. It's a clear intent that they're going to try to use a fullback this upcoming season. That's 2 of them on the roster now. And a punter to compete with Cameron Johnston, I think, is a very healthy thing. If you watched Penn State games last year, I don't know anyone in this podcast who might have been watching Penn State games. This guy's been the kickoff specialist for a few years now. So not just the punter, but a kickoff specialist. Why? Because he's massive with a really strong leg, and he can boot it out of the back of the end zone every single time. So that could be something. I just bring this up because as we proceed in Chris Boswell's career, maybe that's something that you take off of his plate in order to help prolong his career as a kicker. If he's not doing kickoff duty anymore and your punter can handle kickoff duty and he's only doing field goals and extra points, you would think that would help him maybe get a few more years on that leg, which is a golden leg.
Gold.
So let's preserve that leg as long as we can, and maybe we got a dark horse for 53. We'll see how rookie minicamp goes, but I'm really hoping to see this kid get onto the 90-man roster here.
I like it.
I love the idea of having someone else do kickoffs if they can, especially a guy. I mean, Boswell's not going to be laying any people out on coverage either if it gets to him. This guy might have a chance of causing a fumble or 2. So I'm all for that, for sure.
Protecting a national treasure. Yes, I'm on board.
Yeah, so beyond this, we have the Broderick Jones situation. The team kind of indicating that it looks as though he's on schedule as far as his recovery. But again, only time is going to tell us how much he can participate and when. They did not choose to pick up the 5th-year option. They've officially declined it. The deadline has passed. So he will not. Jill's got her shocked face.
Oh my gosh, that is brand new information.
Oh my
Wow.
The guy that we don't know if he's even going to be able to play football again didn't get a 5th-year option picked up. How weird.
Wow. That is wild. No way.
Like we talked about this a few months ago.
Yeah, because that's when they were eligible to put it on him, and now the
Yep.
time frame has ended where you can't
Yep.
go any further with it.
Yeah.
So it's officially gone. It's officially not happening at this point. But as you saw from our responses here, not a big surprise, right?
Nope, not at all.
No one's terribly shocked here. So
Yeah, especially with the play from Dylan Cook last year. I thought Dylan represented himself very well when he did get a chance to start. And then, of course, the first-round selection of Max Ihanachor. Max
Not a dinosaur.
Max looks to have all the potential in the world. So, yeah, we would love for Broderick to fully recover. We would love for him to get back on the field and play well. But if he doesn't, the contingency plans are already in place.
Well, at this point, let's be real. We want this rookie probably to play better than him. So at this point, we want Broderick to play just well enough and get healthy enough that he can be a nice compensatory pick. That's kind of the goal right now. Or he's a solid backup.
Solid for compensatory, yeah.
I think you bring up a great point there, Cody, is that if he can get healthy enough to get on the field here, if Dan Moore could get $20 million a year and we got a 3rd-round pick back for that, who's saying that Broderick Jones wouldn't be able to get at least that? I think he would. I think Broderick is better than what Dan Moore was. So, yeah, let's pray for a full recovery for him. And then, hey, maybe we can pull off another 3rd-round compensatory pick. We saw what Pittsburgh was able to do with a couple extra 3rd-round picks. Maybe they're QB1 of the future. Who knows?
Who knows? Not us.
Who knows?
No, I do like. Oh, go ahead.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
Well, the only thing that I don't love about not giving him his 5th-year option, I'm not saying to do it, but it just with draft picks, like he was number 1 overall, and we're not extending him. It's not exactly the best look for the Steelers, but that was pre-Omar Khan, right? So, because I'm like, we're looking at like next year's class, and I'm like, dang, where's the money gonna come from to make sure we keep everybody on our roster? But I like the idea of a compensatory pick.
And to clarify, I'm not hoping he gets a recovery for that reason. Like I hope he recovers in life in general, but obviously from the business standpoint, that would be helpful. But yeah, the 3rd-round picks, man. I don't know who drew up these quarterback plans, but will they please stop pulling quarterbacks out of a mason jar? Okay, Roger that. Okay.
Wow. How many names could you have gotten? Come on now.
I got all 4.
Oh, you got all 4? I didn't hear all 4.
I said, drew that up. Will they tell me, or will they stop pulling out of a mason jar? Roger that.
I mean, I don't know how you were able to put all of those on the plate, Cody, but I know somewhere you can go and put about anything on the plate that you would like to. And that's our friends over at the Edinburgh Hotel Bar. Supporters of Steelers by the Lake podcast is provided by the Edinburgh Hotel Bar, a family-friendly, smoke-free establishment located at 100 Meadville Street in Edinburgh. They offer lunch, dinner, and catering service with private party accommodations for up to 75 people. Details are available at edinburghhotelbar.com.
Edinburgh Hotel Bar, a lovely, lovely place that I miss. When I went through town, I literally sat across the street at there's a cafe in Edinburgh as well that I ate at and for breakfast, and I was like, they're not open yet. I can't do anything. I can't go over there. So that was sad. But I will get back up there maybe for one game this year, maybe have a time to get all of us together or something, but a blast of a place to eat and watch Steelers games because the Steelers community there is amazing. They put on Renegade. They play black and yellow if we win. It's a very, very fun time. So let's move on and talk about former player.
A former player trying to make a comeback in his career, whose career has just been a failure thus far, really. Chase Claypool about to try out for the Packers in their rookie mini camp. You get to try out players as well. He's giving it a shot. And how do we feel about that?
We do not care.
I mean, Mapletron can come back and try to do what he wants wherever he wants.
Mapletron. I forgot that was his nickname.
Yeah, the Canadian. Yeah, he's talk about hype. Talk about hype. They compared you. They made you the Canadian version of freaking Calvin Johnson,
Right?
And you came out and didn't do anything. I mean, he had a solid rookie year, a very, very good rookie year.
Yeah, it's like 10 touchdowns, wasn't it?
Yep. And then and then it all went to his head, I feel like. And then he got on board with the Juju train, which I love Juju. He was a little distracted. I think the problem with his distraction was he was a leader on the team. And what leaders do in moderation, followers do in excess. Chase Claypool, being a younger guy, fell into that, and it took his concentration off of football completely. It felt like he was dropping balls, missing blocks, lack of enthusiasm. Wild to watch that play out the way it did.
I feel like what they're doing now successfully with DK Metcalf and what the plan is with Michael Pittman Jr., that's what the plan was with Chase Claypool, except he just didn't execute the plan. He wasn't willing to put the work in on the field. And I couldn't tell you how many times we were in like a short yardage situation and the lone wide receiver was Claypool, and he'd come in tight to the formation like he's an extra tight end, and the snap would happen and he'd just stand there and people would run right by him. Like, and he never blocked anybody. And I'm like, dude, like, how are you not ready for the snap of the ball? How are you not participating? And now the running back couldn't get the extra push because somebody's grabbing his ankles that ran off of the edge because Claypool didn't block anybody. And so some of this is effort, and he has to own that because he had all the potential in the world. You don't have the rookie season that he had if you didn't have skill and you didn't put in the hard work in college. You just, like Cody said, I think he let it get to his head. He thought he'd already worked as hard as he needed to work, and he didn't need to work that hard on the field anymore. And that was like the beginning of an era where we saw the wide receivers in Pittsburgh. You know, AB was starting to fall apart at that point, and Juju was getting guys hitting him because of his pregame dances, where I thought Juju was pretty much putting good tape on the field still, but getting a lot of bad publicity because of those dances. And the other guys just were stopping to put the effort in on the field. And then they continued past Chase Claypool, you know, with Deontay Johnson. And then some of the other guys just not even George Pickens deciding on run plays that he wasn't going to run block. Yeah, he's out there for, I don't know, aesthetics. So, you know, it's time for the shift, you know, and that's why I think moving to DK Metcalf was so important, because he is the guy that on a run play takes that corner back and puts him in the bleachers. And you need somebody with that mentality of on a run play, even though I'm a wide receiver, I am still an important part of this play. And we saw it last year, a couple of those big runs from Jalen Warren. DK Metcalf goes and buries a guy and then escorts Warren the whole way to the end zone. And that's the difference between a wide receiver who's big and physical, putting full effort in, and a wide receiver who's big and should be physical and doesn't use his physicality and doesn't put the effort in. So I really do hope that Chase puts it all together and makes a comeback in this league and gets a chance to play again. But Father Time is working against him. He doesn't have much time left before no one's going to give him a shot.
Right. I was going to say, how old is he at this point?
Well, let's find out. He's probably, my guess is like 28 or 29.
I was thinking the same. He's got to be in his late 20s at this point, which means if he doesn't take full advantage of this tryout with the Packers, if he doesn't get an opportunity with them, which they've got a crowded wide receiver room, that's a tough team to crack. But if he takes full advantage of this, somebody might give him a shot. You know, there's going to be a wide receiver room somewhere where a guy goes down and they could benefit from someone like him.
He'll turn 28 on July 7th. So he'll be 28 before the start of the regular season.
Got to do it now, Chase.
Yeah.
We'd love to see it be successful, brother. I know you're listening.
Yeah, right. Absolutely he is.
Yeah. Nine touchdowns his rookie year.
Was that just receiving? Because he had some rushing ones too.
That's so 11 total.
Yeah.
That's
incredible. Yeah, they used him on some end arounds and stuff that year too, and he got in the end zone a couple times on those too. It's just what a rookie season. He's like Devin Bush, man. Awesome rookie seasons, nothing again ever afterwards.
Yep.
I mean, how many players are like that? Like, do you think that they've just like what you were saying, like they reached the peak and then they feel like they don't have to put effort in? I'm like, how do you? but I'm like, if you study any football at all, like if you watch successful football players, they are putting in the work. So I don't understand where that mentality even
I
comes.
think there's two pieces to that. One, I do believe that once players get to the NFL, they're like, okay, I worked hard to get here. I'm here, you know, and
Yeah,
they kind
yes,
of
they
and
did.
the combination of money, which now is interesting with NIL deals in college, and they're having. I mean, I don't remember what quarterback it was. I think it was Carson Beck, made more money in college than he will his like 4 years in the league right now on his rookie
Yeah.
deal. But money changes people, and so when these guys have money, they get distracted by all the things they can do with that money. We don't need to go into detail about those things. And then two, I think on the other side of it is, especially with quarterbacks, more so with wide receivers, but also with wide receivers, there are very good coaches in this league. When you look at film and you find someone's weakness and you exploit it, and if a player or their coaching staff doesn't know how to fix that or counter it, I mean, you're done. We saw that happen. I felt like with Colin Kaepernick. Colin Kaepernick came out and had a phenomenal year that led to them to the Super Bowl and everything, and then he didn't do squat. And I feel like, especially with quarterbacks, especially mobile quarterbacks, defenses find a way to make them uncomfortable or shut down their mobility, and then it's game over. They're a one-trick pony. So,
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's kind of twofold with these guys. You know, like Devin Bush had the unfortunate injury, and I think that set him back a couple seasons afterwards. But like the really, really successful players in the NFL will all say the same thing. If they don't come back better than they were the year before, then they expect to be worse than they were the year before. So the elite athletes, the guys that really get it, if you heard like conversations of TJ Watt early in his career, he talked about how, oh yeah, I'm stronger than I was last year, but I did that last year too. Like every year you should be X amount stronger. You should be going into the next season able to bench press 30 or 40 pounds more than you could the year before because you're putting that consistent work in. And if you're not getting stronger and you're not getting better, everybody else is, and they're passing you up.
Mm-hmm.
So staying the same isn't good enough in the NFL. You do have to reinvent yourself. As Cody said, film's going to expose you. You better find new ways to be successful, but you also better be doing it physically.
Yeah.
You better be spending that time in the off season. You don't get to spend 3 or 4 months resting your body. You get a week or two.
Yeah.
That's it. And then you get back into the gym and you try to get bigger, stronger, faster than you were the year before, or you're going to be a worse player.
Yep. That's fair. But I'm like, I get with these wide receivers where it's like I like to equate them of like the divas of the NFL.
They are.
They're the flashy, I'm the most important. Like it's all about me. And I felt like that was our wide receiver room for a long time. And so when you're not when it's not about the team and it's just about you, that's where you see the disconnect and why we're very unsuccessful. And sure, a record will tell you that we were successful, but like you look on the field and none of the play was successful. So I mean, I know we talk about this all the time, but like on paper, I'm excited about what we have to work with. And especially in our wide receiver room where we have these big guys. And I love like Jeremy Bernard coming out and talking about like his identity in Christ. I was like, I knew I liked him. I knew I liked him from the get-go. So it feels like a good shift is happening in all the rooms. So
yeah. I couldn't tell you how many times I've seen this, but people that scout and coaches that are looking for talent coming into the NFL, they say when they interview guys, they want to hear, they ask them, what are the 3 most important things to you in your life right now? And they want to hear 3 things, and they don't care what order it is. Family, football, faith. That's what they want to hear. And they don't care the order on that. But if it's those 3, you've got a guy that's probably pretty well grounded and will do the right things. Now, just because they say that doesn't mean they're going to actually do it.
Is very true.
But you want to hear that at least from them because you feel like you're going in the right direction.
Yeah.
I'll tell you one thing that we don't know what direction it seems to be going anymore is the whole Aaron Rodgers thing. And that's going to be our last thing before we jump into the position battle for the day. But Rodgers, the Steelers decide to put a very seldom used restricted tag. It's not even a restricted tag. It's a unrestricted free agent tag on Aaron Rodgers, and it's kind of a crazy thing. There's been some misinformation and then some correcting of the information. The long and short of it is Aaron Rodgers can still sign with any team that he wants to right now. If he signs with a team that isn't the Pittsburgh Steelers, they can receive a 4th-round compensatory pick for him.
That's, yeah. Mm-hmm.
He also has a hard date of July 22nd. Past that date, he can only sign with Pittsburgh. And then if he doesn't sign by week 10, he can't even play this season. So there's a lot going on with this. It does put a minimum on his salary for this season. It's about $15 million now. So you can't really get signed for less than that. But it does allow Pittsburgh to have a little bit of leverage now. I liken this back to the situation with Alejandro Villanueva when he moved on from the Pittsburgh Steelers. And when Pittsburgh decided they just couldn't afford to re-sign him, Baltimore waited until after the compensatory formula was over to sign him to a contract that would have qualified for the compensatory formula previously. And it really felt like Pittsburgh got screwed in that situation. And I like that they are protecting themselves from that happening again.
Yeah.
Because who's to say that one of these mini camps happens and somebody doesn't go out there and tear an Achilles or something, and now they're gone for the year, and now a team's scrambling for a starting quarterback. Right. Anybody can restructure a few contracts and make room for $15 or $20 million on their salary cap. And Aaron Rodgers looks like a great option at that point for many teams if they lose their number one guy.
And I heard
have it.
Yeah, and I heard that they even brought this up to Rodgers. I don't know how, I don't know if that's verified or not, but apparently they brought it up to Rodgers before it happened, and he said he didn't care. So it's not like Pittsburgh just did it.
See, this is the stuff that gets me, because I'm like, then why didn't you just sign? I don't get it. That's the super frustrating part. What I understand is Pittsburgh doing this as an insurance measure. That makes sense to me. I actually feel like because of the situation that's happening, I do feel like this is a smart move on the Steelers for an insurance purpose. This is a good backup, making sure that we do have somebody, a veteran in the room. But what I just was like, why can't he just sign? Why? But now what I like, again, kind of flipping back to the business side of Pittsburgh, is Rodgers is over here talking about how he doesn't like deadlines and blah, 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 and he does things on his own terms. And now we're somewhat forcing his hand, because at this point he has until July 22nd or whenever we start any camp, right? Whatever.
Yeah, full-blown training camp will be right around the corner at that point.
Yeah. So he has until that date to decide if he wants to explore other options. And then from then on, it's just us, like you said, James. So we're at least, I feel like, getting some choice back in this, versus we're letting Rodgers do whatever he wants. And, we'll know by the draft and we didn't know, or we'll know in free agency and we didn't know by free agency. We'll know before the draft. We didn't know before the draft. And then it's like, when are we? So now it's a hard, July 22nd, we'll know whether or not Rodgers is.
I think he's a good quarterback, but man, I'm over the drama.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is so.
Diva. It's diva 110%.
I mean, did he play? Was his play worth probably 15? I think he played more than the 13 million that he got last year. So putting the base at 15 to me made sense. I'm like, well, he did play about that price. So, and if you're developing, hopefully we'll see something, and we'll Howard here. Him being under Aaron for a year. So if that's what you left with us, and we paid you 13 million for that, and then you're not coming back this season, and Howard turns into something incredible, I'm good. I just the back and the forth, and the I'm not making the decision because he doesn't want to go to all the trainings, which sure, but can't you sign? These are still voluntary. Even
the annoying part is something
go. I don't get it.
the annoying part is that there's definitely communication between him and the team.
Yes.
And I bet you they already know at this point whether he's coming back or not, but they're not announcing it. And that's the annoying part. And maybe they don't, but I firmly believe that, like, especially with the hiring of Mike McCarthy, Aaron knows if he wants to be there or not. Now, I don't know their relationship. I don't know what that was when it ended in Green Bay. But I mean, as soon as that happened, Aaron probably pondered for a day or two and then knew, okay, yeah, I want to go back and work with McCarthy again. Or, you know what? I really just don't feel like doing this again. It's not, man, it's like asking my girl where she wants to go to eat. It's crazy. It's not that hard. and I feel like he has the idea, or he has the answer right now. I just don't think they're being vocal about it for whatever reason.
And I would say that, with all the indications that we've heard from Mike McCarthy, from Omar Khan, from Aaron Rodgers, is that he and Mike McCarthy are in contact, and they're talking weekly, if not more frequently than that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you one thing, I don't bother having all those conversations with somebody if A, I don't like them, and B, if I'm not interested in playing for them.
Yeah.
So I think that there's very clear interest there, and I think he just has zero interest in doing any of these voluntary workouts. And he knows that he's going to get bad publicity if he signs and then doesn't go to him, regardless of whether he wants to or not, regardless of whether it's mandatory or not. We know as fans and as people who study the game, maybe more than a lot of fans do, that extra time of throwing the ball with these wide receivers, many of which he has never thrown the ball to before, is so instrumental to getting on the same page in the season.
Yeah.
That way you can be going full bore at week 3 or week 4 instead of it's week 10 and you're still throwing it out of bounds because somebody ran the wrong route because they didn't understand your hand signal. Like that stuff gets worked out the earlier you get working with these guys. And that's why it's so frustrating for us, is because we want to see him in there, because Michael Pittman was hand selected as a guy who is perfect for a wide receiver for Aaron Rodgers.
Mm-hmm.
The guy that gets open quickly, gets separation, has a huge frame, and very reliable hands. Perfect for it. Yeah. Jeremy Bernard only had 1 drop pass his entire college season last year. Super reliable, great route runner. Perfect for something that Aaron Rodgers would want to throw the football to. There's no reason for him not want to come.
No.
We got 2 high draft picks for the offensive line to protect him, to reinforce it, to make it even better than it was last year, which was one of the fewest sacked quarterbacks in the entire NFL.
Yes, our O-line.
And it should be better now.
Yep.
Like, there are so many reasons for him to want to come back, but I think he just doesn't want the bad optics of being on the team.
What are these optics? Like, this
bad.
Bad.
Also bad.
Publicity, everything. So I'm like, you know that this is where you're going. I feel like it's better publicity to sign with the team and then just not go. Because at this point, he's probably signing with the team just like last season. And so this looks worse.
My goal is that we see him throwing with wide receivers the same way he did with DK last year. I'm hoping that after rookie camp, Jeremy Bernard, Pittman, DK, Roman all end up in Florida, South Cal, wherever the heck he is, and there's videos of them throwing the football. I would love to. That would make me feel a lot better, because then it's like, we know what this is. See you in a few months, Aaron.
Yeah, and he did that last year, but he didn't do it until after he signed.
Right.
Right. So let's get this out of the way and get this going, Aaron. That's what we would like to see. But that absolutely leads us to today's position battle, which is the quarterback battle. Obviously, 4 guys that are expected to be in the battle right now. Mason Rudolph, the only true veteran in the room. But the battle appears as though it'll be more Will Howard versus Drew Aller. And this is really going to pit the fan bases against each other, as Jill's showing off an Ohio State t-shirt. I've got on a number 1 Penn State jersey right now. And that's the big talk, is that if Aaron does come back, Mason's probably going to be bye-bye, and we're going to go with these 2 young cats. But I like the idea of we've got a real competition for once. Drew Aller, clearly Mike McCarthy's guy. But he's also had a lot of really positive things to say about Will Howard. Will Howard's body of work at Ohio State was very impressive, including playing his best football at the highest level and winning a national championship because partially of how well he played football during those games.
Mm-hmm.
Drew Aller in the most important games didn't do so well. You also had some pretty crappy coaches and some pretty bad wide receivers.
Wide receivers, right?
As to where Ohio State's putting out first-round wide receivers every single year. So we're seeing what's coming out of Ohio State, and he had some pretty tremendous targets there. But let's talk about this battle, guys, because this is probably the most intense roster battle we're going to have to talk about of all the positions, and we're attacking it right away. We've got likely a three-way battle here between a guy who hasn't signed yet and two young guys who haven't played a single snap in the NFL yet.
Yep.
It's the common question we get as Steeler fans as, who's your quarterback? And we say, I don't know. We'll figure it out, I guess. There's no clear-cut answer. I mean, we've all been vocal about what we want to happen. I'm not saying the best things are going to happen, but I just feel like we don't need to sign Aaron Rodgers and we roll with one of these guys. And I mean, again, I've said and I've been vocal about not trusting an OSU quarterback in the league. I'll be the first one to throw myself under the bus. I will, because I still don't. I mean, CJ Stroud still has to prove himself, in my opinion, until for me to actually buy into OSU quarterback stock. But I am enjoying every time Will Howard is talking about the opportunity of being the quarterback. And I feel like he has the attitude and the mentality to give it his all on the field. And so he was talking with Cam Hayward and he was like, I'm ready to be QB1. That it doesn't matter where I'm at. My mentality, my effort level is all to be QB1 right now. I'm ready to go right now. They tell me right now I'm doing it. I'm doing it. They tell me in 5 weeks I'm doing it. I'm doing it. He's very, very driven. And I think it's because he was picked in that 6th round. And so he had all of these opportunities pass up on him as a quarterback who won a national championship. I'm sure that's quite humbling in that moment of I'm getting looked over and passed on, and I need somebody to take a chance on me. And so I feel like there's that added value of the Steelers took a chance on him and then he broke his finger last year. So it was the chances is a little blurry now. And so I feel like he's working even harder to try to prove this season that he has some value and worth to him. So I've been growing fond of him because I feel like I'm seeing that work ethic and that attitude overflow out of him. It's not a I have to make this up because I'm interviewing kind of thing. It's just coming out as he's talking to people.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I mean, he's athletic, they're both athletic. So it's going to be quite the battle of athleticism. It's a great, great competition.
If I'm Pittsburgh, I'm 100%. I mean, whether Aaron Rodgers is there or not, there's no veteran in that room that's getting snaps with the first team in preseason games. We need to see these two guys.
Yes.
We know what we have in Mason. Mason can coach from the sideline. Mason can be there, but I don't care if these guys are switching quarters. I don't care if they're switching halves. I don't care if they're switching every other possession. I want to see what Will Howard does with the ones. I want to see what Drew Aller does with the ones. I want to see what they do with the 2s and 3s, because what happens if a wide receiver goes down with injury? What's their chemistry like with this receiver?
Right.
I want to see what they're going to do when they get pressure from a backup lineman that doesn't block as well. What happens when they feel that pressure? Of course, we're not trying to get them hurt. But if I'm Pittsburgh, this is not only the battle for this year, this is the battle for the potential future of this franchise. Now, there's a chance it's neither of them. There's a chance they both play well. I think that's obviously best case scenario. You can use one as trade option in year 2 or 3. But I would definitely ride out somewhat of these rookie deals. But when you compare their stats in college, and obviously 4 years at Penn State for Drew Aller, and then 4 years at Kansas State before going to Ohio State for Will Howard. Did I say Drew Aller, Will Howard? Okay, whatever.
You did it right.
I mean, in the 5 years for Howard, 83 touchdowns to 35 interceptions. the 35 interceptions is a lot. He never threw more than 10 in a year. Unfortunately, the 10 still a lot. Let me clarify. That's not good. But at Kansas State, his touchdown to interception ratio was 8-10, 1-1, and then it went positive 15-4, 24-10, and then at Ohio State 35-10. Now Penn State with Drew Aller, 4-0 his freshman year, 25-2, 24-8, and then 8-3. He kind of gives you the feeling of the Aaron Rodgers in the sense that he protects the ball probably a little bit more than Will Howard does. But Will Howard is just a gunslinger. He's going to go out there and throw the ball. And we saw that out of Ben. Ben wasn't afraid to throw the ball in tight spots. Terry Bradshaw obviously wasn't, as he's up there with the most interceptions in all time. And even his MVP year was not very good. But these guys have a lot of interesting similarities. And there's nothing in my mind that is glaringly separating the two. So my big thing here is preseason football needs to be like 90% one of these two. Like between the two of them, it needs to be 45-45. If you want to throw Mason or Aaron in for one drive, sure, whatever. Get them out. Let me see what these guys have to offer, because one of these guys is probably going to be either starting mid to late this season, if not early, or definitely next year.
Yeah, I can't agree with you guys more. I want to see as much as possible of the two of these guys. Let them duke it out. And I'm going to bring back some old Tomlinisms here. It's iron sharpens iron, right?
That's fine.
That's
Bible, but yeah, it's still Tomlin.
It's two dogs, one bone. So like this is the real stuff here on getting better, because you got two guys going for the same job. I'm going to take you back a little bit in Steelers history to the year 2010. And in 2010, the Pittsburgh Steelers selected in the third round a wide receiver by the name of Emmanuel Sanders. And then came back in the sixth round with Antonio Brown. This year, our starting quarterbacks, the possible big combination here is a third round guy and a sixth round guy.
Okay.
I'm not saying it's the same, but I'm saying there's some similarities here. And there's definitely a lot of people who would say that the sixth round pick from the previous season might have an edge up on the third round guy. But I love the fact that this should be a duke it out, just show me what you got kind of situation here. And not really a big leg up for either guy, even though Will Howard's been on the team for an extra year. Sure, he's got a little chemistry as far as throwing with some of these wide receivers, but he didn't get to play at all. So it's really just what happened in practice. So he knows DK, he knows Skoranek, he knows Roman Wilson. That's only going to be half of the wide receiver core this year. And he probably only really threw the ball to Roman Wilson and Ben Skoranek. He probably never threw it to DK at all. So I love the fact that we're going to have like a good, serious competition, not a fake competition like we had in previous years where certain guys were supposed to be part of the competition and it never really were. This is a legitimate one where we're really going to get to see who's the best, the cream rising to the top. You know, like this is really going to be it. And it's two guys with all the physical attributes you would want to see. Neither one of them has a weak arm. Both of them have good arms, maybe a little bit stronger of an arm with Aller. I would say Aller may be a little bit quicker, but better long speed from Will Howard. Maybe he got clocked at like 20 miles an hour or something on one of his scrambles in college. So the kid can really scoot when he opens it up. So like you've got better than just regular athleticism. They look like they should be pocket quarterbacks, but neither one of them are just pocket quarterbacks. Drew was asked to do a lot of running in Penn State, and it really didn't make a lot of sense. But he did redefine himself and get himself in better shape and turn himself into a better athlete in order to try to fit that system as best as he could. Mike McCarthy is more of a let me build my system around my weapons. Like I love the twinkle in his eye knowing about Caden Weetjen and Eli Heidenreich and the possibilities of what he can do and how creative he can be with guys that are this dynamic with the ball in their hands. And I think we're going to get to see some fun stuff with these quarterbacks. But I feel like for the first time we got the coaching in place to properly develop quarterbacks as to where that wasn't a Mike Tomlin responsibility. He was a defensive guy. It was his job to get the best out of people on defense. And we're going to have some Hall of Famers on that defensive side because of his tutelage helping them along in their progression.
Mhm.
But it's time for somebody to develop a quarterback. We need that again. That's the most important thing going on in Pittsburgh right now is who's the quarterback, who's going to be the QB of the future. And the nice thing about this to me is, let's say that nobody really stands out. One of these guys gets to start most of the season. They pick one, they go with him. He has a mediocre year. The other guy doesn't really get a chance to play. That doesn't mean you can't pick a quarterback in the first round next year, and it doesn't hurt the value of whoever didn't play.
Mm-hmm.
You could still draft a QB in the first round next year and then trade off the guy who didn't win the battle.
Yeah.
Or trade off the other guy, and they're still going to have high value. You only lose value in the NFL when you put bad tape out there. So if there's not any tape out there, you don't lose value. And people did highly value Drew Aller in this draft. So even if he gets to just sit there as a backup QB, you could still have some value as a potential trade candidate year two if he doesn't win over the job. So I'm excited about this. I can't wait to see preseason football. I love it every year regardless, but it is the most exciting time for me as a Steelers fan with the potential of these two QBs and one of the two of them maybe turning into the guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was going to say this is arguably the most important preseason.
Yep, that we've had in a while.
Yeah.
20 years.
And to be fair, the people that hate preseason are not football fans that enjoy the idea of people fighting for jobs. I don't care. They're like, I don't care who's on the field for my team. I want to watch my team play. And it's the players that are already solidified their positions. Realistically, I would not be surprised if the NFLPA comes out in a couple years and limits the number of snaps veterans can take during preseason, because that's a big complaint of preseason right now. I know there's some players that like it as a warm up and stuff like that. But a lot of veterans are really don't like preseason, which is somewhat understandable. It's another opportunity to get injured. I get it. But
Cam Hayward
there's
has
some
no business being on the field during preseason.
Yeah. And there's still the aspect of this is a chance for guys who have not made a name for themselves to come out and make a name for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
If we went and studied, I'm sure just with the Steelers, you could probably think of, 10 or 15 guys that fought for a roster spot or got a roster spot because of preseason.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm will
Rosie
always
Nick.
be for preseason. Yep.
Rosie Nix blocked a punt in a preseason game and got a roster spot because of it, and then became a Pro Bowl fullback for the Steelers. So it happens every year. Guys stand out in the preseason.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, let's be honest. When we were going into last preseason, who had Y.A. Black tearing up the entire NFL in the preseason on their bingo card? Because I didn't. But he was a monster in the preseason and became an integral part of the future plans of that defensive line room, and somebody that we're counting on as being a quality backup to a guy who can start in a pinch and not worry about it. These games are so important.
Yeah.
And I think it's a shame that eventually it's going to go to an 18-game regular season and 2 preseason games, because it hurts these young guys and their chances to show what they've got.
Right.
Yep. Yeah, they made the transition, in 21 from 4 to 3?
Sounds about right. Yeah, it was real recent. Yeah, it was only a few years back.
Yeah, 21 or 22. It used to be 4 preseason, now it's only 3. But yeah, I mean, this quarterback position battle, obviously the meat and potatoes of this podcast is gonna be huge. It's gonna be intense, and even quite honestly, I think when we go and we get to the bye week this year, whenever that might be, or we get midway through the season, we are still going to be discussing who should be in there at quarterback. Not because we could be undefeated. That's not true. I don't think we'd have a discussion if that was happening.
What do you mean? We're going 17-0 this year. Duh. You heard it here first.
It's going to be interesting to see what they do, because I still think Aaron's coming back. I think Aaron's going to start personally. But at some point, Mike McCarthy, I'm sure they've already had this conversation. Hey, we want you to come be the guy, but we want to include these guys somehow. Whether it's games that we're losing or games that we're winning, or it's just hey, we're switching to switch.
Yeah.
Like we got to see these guys get real action, even in the regular season. Otherwise, year 2 for these guys, year 3 and 2 for these guys are going to be rough.
Yeah, it can't just be preseason.
Yeah, absolutely. So next week we're going to move on to the running back position. So join us as we go through the entire roster on these position battles. But let's wrap up today's show. I don't think we have anything else unless you guys got anything else you want to run through here.
No, but if you had to pick Will Howard.
Oh, are we making our guesses right now?
Let's do it.
Make a pick right now.
Yeah.
Who are you picking?
I want Will Howard to be the starter personally. And I'm a Penn State guy.
I actually don't care for OSU. Sorry to every OSU fan who is listening. I love the OSU players who play for the Steelers, but I'm going Will Howard as well.
I mean, this puts me in an awful position because I'm wearing my Penn State jersey here and I love my Nittany Lions. But I also think Will Howard is the better option at this point.
Nick, put yours in the comments.
Yeah. Nick and everyone else, put your thoughts in the comments on who you think the starting quarterback should be, how you think this quarterback battle will pan out. And just a reminder about anything other than Steelers football.
We do not care.
So with that being said, thank you guys so much for being here. Make sure to like and follow on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Subscribe, ring the bell. It's free. Doesn't cost you a thing. Don't forget the 5-star reviews and Apple Podcasts make James and everyone else very happy. And we can't thank you guys enough. Be sure to check us out next week as we continue to go through these position battles. With that being said, this is Steelers by the Lake signing off. Cody, James, and Joe from Ohio.
Peace.